Okay, now it's a video about the comparisons with Michael. The comparisons with Michael for LeBron, for Kobe, and at times with T-Mac. For me, it's uh, it's Kobe. It's Kobe who's the player that got the closest to Michael, because it's not only about the obvious. When you watch him play, it's like really, it's frightening at times, because you think you see Michael play actually on the court. That baseline jumper, the baseline fadeaway, the way he posts up people, the way he plays defense when he's angry, when he takes plays personally. It's it's very it's very similar to me. And but like I said, it's not about that. It's about the work ethic, the determination, the full-time commitment to the game. Phil Jackson, who coached both of these guys, said that Kobe is about 5 times harder on himself than Michael. He works harder, he works longer, he works tougher. He works tougher at the age that would be tough for people to reach together with that level he has. Still, after those injuries, we remember he had a broken knee, torn Achilles, broken wrist on his shooting hand, broken finger on his shooting hand. I remember he broke his finger, and the game after he scored about 44 points in Chicago. That's crazy. That's really crazy. And that's a good example, because there was a time when Kobe suffered some injuries that would kept a lot of players out, and he even thought about it for a second. He absolutely hated it to give opponents a chance to win when he's not active, and that's a way of aggression and a way of commitment that's very unique in the NBA, very unique in all of sports, and that deserves a lot of credit. That deserves a lot of credit because he's done it at an age that, yeah, a lot of players would be capable of doing too, but he just do it because it seems to me he wanna prove to himself every night again that he's able to do some special things off the court everybody is not capable of doing. Because when I see, he's hobbling or had some issues with his back in the 2008 playoffs against Utah, or he had some problems with his shooting arm, it doesn't matter. He always played through it. He always figured a way out to be successful, be effective, lead his team to victory no matter what. If we look back on the finals 2010, the game 7 against Boston at home, Staples Center, he had his issues here and there, had a bad shooting night, but when the game was on the line, it was not only the 3-pointer by Ron Artest, which was very important, but it was his double-digit scoring in the fourth quarter. He had a miserable shooting percentage that game, but scored double-digit points in the fourth quarter. He had 16 rebounds in that game, battled all the way back, and yeah, that's the way you gotta play when you want to be great. That's the way you want to be remembered, as a player who always gives 110% when he's on the court. Especially that game, I think the Lakers were down double digits at the start of the fourth quarter. They came all the way back, and yeah, some people say it would be a little bit different if Perkins would have played, but I think yeah, the Lakers just wanted it more anyway. The way Kobe carried his teams from 2008 on was very special because a lot of people say that he changed his personality, that he was different in '05 or '06. He started to take out his teammates for dinner, spend time with them, lead and more vocal on the court than he does before. And I think that was the X factor in those years. And it was that and the last final step he made on his personal level, because he started in after 2008, I think it was. He worked with Hakeem more on his post game. He always had a great footwork and a great post game, but that year you saw that he was on a new level. And yeah, for me it would have been not so bad if he won MVP back in 2009 too, because he was a load offensively every single night. When you saw what he's done against Orlando in the finals, 32 points a game, about 6 or 7 assists, 6 rebounds, I think. That's great numbers. I mean, okay, he won the finals MVP for that, but the whole season was very special to me. And when you look back at the season they had after 2010, the loss against Dallas in the first round, it's very frightening to me to see still how far he carried the Lakers with a bad knee. He had a bad knee that year. After that season, he flew to Germany to get it repaired. And for me, it's crazy. It's really special to me how he leads his teams even when he's injured. And that says a lot about his heart, a lot about his will to win. And there are a lot of players who would probably sit some games out to let some things heal or get a little rest, get new treatment, get fresher, and then maybe take it on the next game. But there's no option for Kobe. He didn't flinch for a second, even when he's got injured, broken finger, broken wrist, like I said before. He plays through all that, and that makes him very special. It makes him unique, and I think that was the level Michael just reached. Remember the flu game. We all didn't really know how bad was the flu in that game, but there are a lot of people say that he was really, really hot. Not because of the scoring, because he was ill. And playing through flu-like symptoms is very tough. You feel stiff, you feel stiff, you feel hard on yourself, and that was a special performance back there in Utah. And there are obviously some other injuries Michael had through his career he played through, but the way Kobe came back after his Achilles tear was crazy to me, because even he was really inefficient, he still managed to lead the league in points per game for about the first 2 or 3 weeks. I know there were a lot of shots to that. I think he took about 30 shots a game. That's crazy. That's just unbelievable. But, I mean, people knew what kind of player he was. Teams knew Kobe Bryant likes to shoot. And for me, it's the ability still to take and get up shots. Maybe they were not only good shots, but he manages to get up shots when he wants over 48 minutes. And that's an ability that a lot of players want in this league. They would die for. I know there are a lot of players that want to score the ball, often, but defensive schemes in the NBA sometimes are so effective that players even don't get the ball. Or even if they get the ball, they still can't manage to get a shot up because they are so tight on them, they're in their jerseys. There are a lot of good defenders in this league, but Kobe always finds a way to get a shot up. He got so many go-to moves. A lot of players got a go-to move, maybe A, B, C, D. He always can take you down to Z. And yeah, you saw a glimpse of that in his first summer camp games back in '98 with the Lakers. The way he moves, the way he gets to the paint, the way he uses his footwork to his advantage it lets you think that there could be a great career ahead. And yeah, you see that now. You see how clever he parried his game after the injuries. Obviously, he's become a jump shooter, but right before the injury, right before the Achilles tear, I think it was 2012, 2013 season. I mean, how crazy he played in that year. How crazy. I think he put up 28 points a game, 47% from the field as a 36-year-old jump shooter, or 35 he was. Had about 6 or 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. At 35 years old, man, that's a lot of load. That's a lot of load. That was MVP worthy to me. That season it was special, especially after the All-Star game, after the All-Star weekend. He took his team on his shoulder and carried them to the playoffs. Then the game against Golden State, where the last dark chapter began of his career. Yeah, where the bad one started. I would pay a lot of money to see what numbers he would have able to put up now if he wouldn't have that Achilles tear. Now it doesn't matter. He got to deal with it. Up to now he did great with it. And I think no matter how the next season will go, no matter how the Lakers will handle the draft, I hope they pick Towns or Okafor. I think it just depends on how Mini thinks about the situation. Who will they leave up? Even if he doesn't win the sixth one, it's for me he's the closest. And if you look back on LeBron, the things he do now, playoffs 2015 is amazing. The way he carries Cleveland again is just frightening to me. And the load he takes on his shoulders offensively and defensively, obviously he had a tough series against Chicago, just shooting 39% from the field, but he does everything, everything under control. He gets rebounds, he gets steals, plays the right pass, always makes the right play, takes final decisions, makes final decisions. And even if he's not able to score for a stretch about a minute, some minutes, he still finds a way to lead his team to victory. And people starting to talk about now that he's greater than Michael already, but I would give him 3 or 4 years more to play to show really if he's ready for that GOAT throne. Being really better than Michael it's tough. We all know how the finals records from LeBron look like. They're probably now on the negative side. Not really comparable to Kobe or Michael, but we all know Kobe had the luck to play with Shaq. Michael had the luck to play with Pippen and Rodman and those guys, but on the other hand, you had some really bad teams for LeBron. taking to the finals. You know, we all know what 2007 was looked like. It was a wrap against San Antonio. Then he got to Miami. These teams were great. But now he proves that he can take a bad team again under his wing and take them to the finals. It's crazy. I had Atlanta before them. I had Chicago ahead of them. He knocked them both out. And now we will see how we play against Golden State. But I wouldn't set him up over Michael already. It's for me, it's a little too early. He's got great numbers already. He's got great numbers if we look over his whole career. But for me, it's too early. Just give him 3 or 4 more years, and then we can argue about it again. I mentioned TMac at the beginning of that video. Obviously, he's not known as a great runner, but with TMac, I saw a glimpse of him from Michael in his individual game. His scoring ability, his height, scoring at his height is it's kind of unfair for every defense. You know, he's had a matchup every single night he could take advantage of. He's had a mismatch every single night. And when he was healthy, he had that 32 points a game season in Orlando. He was a force, a very dominant force. I would say that, I wouldn't mind, but I really would say that in that season he was the best player on the planet. Period. There was nobody who can stop him. He played good defense. He led a bad team to the playoffs. Obviously he wouldn't won there, but his ability to take over games that time was really frightening, and I think not a lot of players reach that kind of level. Not a lot of players can reach that type of zone he got into every single night, and that makes him very unique in his own way. It was tough to see him suffer all those injuries later in his career down to Houston, but for me he will always be a great player. He will always be a great person on and off the court, and it was a hard day for me when he put up his retirement, and the league lost a great player with him. Obviously he wasn't that good in his last years, down to New York, Atlanta, but he was a very special player. And you know, Kobe and T-Mac will always be for me the two guys you can pair your game to if you wanna your game have the biggest arsenal you can think of. And yeah, that's my take on those two guys.